Credibility is really important. And credibility in myself as a salesperson, not just credibility in the company. That's like the next level of established credibility that they teach you when you're a new rep. You want to not only establish credibility in Cutco, but now you also have to establish credibility in yourself as a Cutco rep, and why they should not only purchase the product, but why they should feel confident purchasing a lot from you. And that's where stats really come into play. And so, a lot of customers will ask me why you're selling knives or how long you've been selling them. It's a very natural question to be asked. And that's what this page I do. This was 2016. James, did we lose you?
You did, but I'm back.
Okay. So in 2016, what I'll tell my customers, my last year of school, I had no plans of selling Cutco out of college. I didn't study Knife Skills 101. But I did this all throughout college. And in 2016, I sold $150,000 around my trip to Spain for a month. And I finished number 3 in the company out of all the students. And we work with about 40,000 students every year. So needless to say, after a year like that, the company really wanted to recruit me and keep me around long term. But also when I started applying for jobs, I made more money around school that year than most of the job offers that I got out of college. And I hadn't really focused on building the business. I was selling as a college student, to pay my bills. But I saw the potential, because the cool thing about this number, 150,000, is 101,000 of that was to customers that had bought from me before, customers that had bought from me over my college career. And when I saw that breakdown at the end of the year, I saw the potential. And like, my customers love the stuff and they keep buying over and over and over again from me, because they love the service that I provide and they love the product itself. And so when I saw that, it's like, how could I go anywhere else and start over from scratch at a quote unquote normal job, when I saw the potential for so much more here? And I love working with my clients. I mean, you could see from all the photos, like, my customers, they're my friends. I love them. It's a blast. So you're going to be part of this Cutco family now. And I'm going to be doing this for a very, very long time. You're stuck with me. I'm your new knife guy. Okay. No one knife stands with anybody else. I'm the knife man. All right. Good. So, right now in the company, out of everybody that's ever sold Cutco, I'm ranked number 244. And this is pretty outdated. This is when I was at 700,000. Of currently almost at $1 million in career sales. And then here I typically have a more current, sales report with something a little more current. But I'll talk about Andy, how he's my mentor, and like the two of us lead South Florida. We're the 2 top sales reps in Florida. We're also the only 2 that are certified in Dade County to do sharpening and maintain products for our customers. So although there's a lot of people selling Cutco, there's not a lot of people that do it at the level that I do it in the company, and that offer those types of services for their clients. So this really sets the stage. You can see what this creates for customers. It's not just photos with my clients, right? It starts that way, where it's like a photo album. And right away, when you have those photos, you've probably noticed, Miros, in your book, people they lean in, right? They're like, oh, that's cool. It grabs their attention. It engages them. It's not what they're expecting to see when you open a prospectus. It's just a bunch of photos of people that are happy with their product. You expect to see the product, but this changes, it breaks that mentality for them, and it engages them at a whole nother level. And then these stats really create a story of the success of myself in the business and what they can expect working with me in the future, and why they should feel confident making any investment with me that they want. Also seeing all these big numbers, 160, 700,000, 150,000, like, this really sets the expectation for people who don't spend hundreds of dollars, they spend thousands of dollars with me every time. And that's really big. So once I've discussed my business, then I move into my little bit more personal stuff, and I talk about Angel Wings. And this is a nonprofit organization I work with overseas. This is Andy. That's the guy I gave the kidney to. He is the vice president, but really he's the driving force behind the organization. And this thing is super cool. And by the way, you guys can promote Angel Wings as well. I can give you some information on it, but you should always have something about yourself personally that's about more than just yourself to share with your customers. I tell them I've been to Haiti multiple times, but what's really cool about this whole project and organization is it's been driven by Cutco Reps. Like, all of the money, we've raised over $1.5 million, and 1.2 of that has been raised directly from Cutco sales reps, not Cutco corporate as a company, although they've also donated and been part of the organization as well. But there's a bunch of crazy knife people like me, all over the country that take trips to Haiti. And here are just a couple of the different trips. And most of these guys are my friends. They're all the top sales reps from the company. If you were to print out the list of like the top 100 Cutco reps, probably 50 of them are involved with this organization, have raised funds for it. So this is an organization that's been built and maintained by Cutco sales reps. This is the clinic. We opened it in 2017. It's free to the public, and we serve about 400 patients a week in the 4 days that we're open. We have a medical staff of 8, an administrative staff totaling about 15 people that we employ and support year round with this. And we take 2 to 3 trips there every year. So it's a really powerful organization. I send out emails to my customers from time to time. We're always looking for medical supplies and donations. So I know everybody has their organization that they work with and give to, but this is something the more I put it out there, the better it is. We've had dozens of Cutco customers who have also come with us and donated their time on our trips. For instance, the electrician was a Cutco customer. He's actually been to the clinic more times than I have. He's one of Andy's customers. The architect was also a Cutco customer that did all the architectural work on the clinic. And it's just been really powerful over the years to have Cutco sales reps and clients come together to do something bigger for the world. So that's Angel Wings. And over time, I'll keep you in the loop via email. And when I go, you always see pictures of me on Facebook and stuff. So it's outside of Cutco, this is what I'm most passionate about. I sit on the board for the organization. It's one of the big things I do with my time when I'm not working in the business. And then I have a couple other layers in the business that I do as well. I'm not only my main business is working with clients like you and doing what I'm doing with you right now, but I also like to give back. I'm actually one of the national certified coaches. So what I do is I help take college students that have been doing this like I was around school and have graduated and now decide they want to make a career of it. And I help them to transition their business from a part-time selling college student business to a full-time business like I run myself, that's profitable and they can build long-term for their lives. So these are just some of my coaching clients. They call themselves the Taylor Gang, which is pretty fun. And then this is how I started. These are, when I was new, it was just like the college student that came by last time and asked you for a big list of referrals. This was Minnie, my aunt. She really got my business started. She gave me over 40 people. She referred me to Yvonne, which gave me 30, who introduced me to Marile, who's one of my top customers. She's actually a big hitting attorney here in Miami. She gave me over 60 people. And, the business has just grown with friends and family. Now I'm at a place where I don't really need you to give me 60 people to go see. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't have time to go see them all anyway. But just keep in mind, my goal is not just to be your Cutco guy, but like the Cutco guy for your family and for your work. And, knives and the kitchen, it comes up in conversation all the time. I'm not above bribing you. Okay. So if you introduce me to a couple friends or family down the line, I'm always going to take care of you and hook you up with a couple extra thank yous and some free gifts. And it's really why I've been able to build such a great relationship with my customers. Like, this is Linda. I actually met Linda at an event, but she introduced me to Barb, and Barb got her first set of Cutco from me at a cooking party. I actually cooked dinner at Linda's house, and she invited Barb over. And Barb's been one of my great customers, and she introduced me to one of her coworkers, Dara, and like the list just goes on and on. And so I become really close with my customers, partially because of the time I spend with them here, but also, because of the relationship I build with their friends and their family too. And so those are some of the referrals. And then these are customers like you that have loved the stuff and had them forever, 39 years, 40 years, 43 years, 41 years. Here's some more referrals. This is Jenny and Jeff Stay. They're big hitters in Miami too. They gave me some of the top referrals I've ever had. And you may recognize some of these. Depending on who I'm seeing, these leads that I have in here are very specific. These are my big hitting customers that know the most people, because sometimes I run into people that know them or know people that they know. And so I'm very aware of the networks that I'm in when I'm doing referrals, when I'm doing in-home appointments, of who may know who in the city. And I will actually update these pages of referrals. If I think I might go see somebody that might know another one of my customers, I'm going to grab that referral sheet and slide it in here instead, so that I can show them that and build on that. And I also, when I go see a past customer, I put their referral sheet in here. And that way I can get them to kind of freshen up those referrals, introduce me to those people a second time, or like with Bilad, the first time I got Bilad's list, I didn't see anybody from the list at all in 2011. But I went back to see her in 2013, and I'm like, hey, I didn't really see any of your friends. But if you were me, who here should we cross off as maybe like not in a good place where I shouldn't reach out to them again? And who should I really focus on seeing? And at this point, I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 13 people on the list I've seen over the years. And actually she's added, you can see the first, she actually gave me 8. And then the next time she gave me a couple more. And then the next time she gave me another one. So I just keep adding it to the list and I keep growing it. And she introduced me to my number 1 customer. And that was the 3rd time I went to see her before she introduced me to the number 1 customer. So then here's another testimonial. And then I have the Dr. Phil page. I really don't utilize this much. I just kind of open to the page. Here's some famous Cutco owners. A lot of people own Cutco, and some people get really excited and they like start looking through the list. Although I don't promote it, they find it interesting and they might read through the list. And I tell them, that Dr. Phil gave away a bunch of our sets when he was doing a health segment as well. And then I go into contest pieces. So let's pause right there. Give me some feedback on this first half of the book.
It's very your storytelling throughout your book, and like you planted seeds about like who recommended you to who, and oh hey, like you don't have to because I don't have the time, but I'm not above bribery. And then the stats. That's something my blue book doesn't have that I feel like I don't have cool stats though. Like I haven't sold that much.
That's right. But it's all about promotion and framing, right? So what are the cool stats that you can promote in the same way? You're the number 1 rep in your office. You're the number 3 rep in your division. How can you play with the stats, so that they look good? And maybe it's your biggest week ever that you put in there and you have a sales report where you're at the top. But you really want to dig in on your stats and see how can you work them so that they make you seem as big as I just look.
Yeah. And then the whole angel winks is it makes you seem like you're not just like there to like sell, like you're doing knives, but it's like bigger than you. It's about like helping others. So that was cool too. And then your sponsor page, that is hot because I run into like a lot of the same circles, and instead of like because I'll just be like, oh yeah, like, do you know Christy? Like, she lives over there, and do you know her neighbor Mandy? And they'll be like, oh yeah, like, you know them. But like actually having like their name there, it makes it more like, oh, like she does know her versus, yeah, she just says she knows her. So that was hot.
Photo of them, right?
Yeah.
Pictures are really big, and you can just have those on your phone and show it to them because you can't always keep it super up to the book. But yeah.
So those were like and then the whole thing where you said that your blue book should create a luxury, high quality experience. That stuck with me. I like wrote it down.
And so whatever that means for you, that doesn't mean you have to copy the physical book I have, but this is just a great value. For $40, I haven't found anything that's this quality without spending $100 or $200 that has the quality and professional feel that this does. I've done plenty of looking and I've tried a bunch of different books. You can always find something random that might work good that you run into, but this is like, you don't have to think about it. You can order it on OfficeDepot.com and you'll have it tomorrow and it's going to serve the purpose perfectly.
So I do have a question on the binders. Okay. So what if I guess I'll just send you like pictures of binders, but should a binder not like be pretty and look good, or should it be luxurious and look good?
I would say it should be luxurious and look good.
Okay.
I mean, you're trying to promote the product as a best-in-class luxury product and luxury experience, and the book should match that, right? So, yeah, the book, you want it to look good, and I'm okay if you want to do a different color or whatever, but it needs to look expensive. Like, it needs to look like you put in time and energy, and it needs to match the product and your whole pitch. So something can look pretty and not look particularly expensive or high quality, but you want it to be high quality and look and feel high quality too.
Okay.
James?
I mean, you kind of hit the high points there. again, you know, it's this, yeah, from last year, of course, you already know, taking pictures isn't something that I've always really been comfortable doing, but there's no doubt it is powerful for for other customers to see and share in the experience other customers have had. So I definitely see the value in it.
Yeah, James, hey, when you have pictures, they'll be like, oh, I know her. And you're like, yeah, she has the medium set.
Mm-hmm. And
Like,
pictures of customers with the product, right? So like on the very first page, I have a picture with the cookware ultimate set business gifts. Here I have Jeff Stay, who's a big hitter as well. Me having fun with a big ass cigar and an ultimate set in the picture. This one doesn't have any product, but this is at a show at the Coconut Grove Art Festival, actually, with my customer that referred me to this customer, brought her to the show and the set that they purchased. This one has a piece of Cutco cookware. They bought a griddle and the homemaker. So it's not only promoting that, but it's promoting the product too. So keep that in mind with the pictures. It should always have product in it whenever possible. It can be both, right? It doesn't only have to have product, but having product in the pictures is definitely powerful as well. Having pictures of your booth and your professional setup and your mall setup so you can promote the mall as well is good. I have a lot of pictures at booths in my book too. So here I have a picture with silverware. Here I have a picture at the booth. Here I have a picture with the CEO. Here I have a picture of me working. I have a picture of me teaching. I have a picture of me with the trophy, right? And I don't go through everything that I went through with you guys right now with every single customer, but it gives me the ability to hit the hot point for that customer. And I'm going to focus more on some things with customers than others. And if the customer gives me the opportunity, if they're engaged, if they're interested, if they're curious, then I go through all of that with them because that's going to create the best possible framing. And just think about how much selling I just did, what expectations and seeds I just planted before even talking about the product at all, right? This is like where people miss the mark. I mean, I have pages. This is all of this here before I even get to anything product oriented, like all of that. And do I use it all every time? No, but I know which buttons I can hit with which customers, and I focus on it in a big way. And notice how all the pages are super clean. The clear views are heavy duty and nice. These are printed on really nice paper, photo paper, which you can't really tell in the picture, but everything start to finish is quality, right? There's nothing like not nice in my book at all. So this is going to be recorded so you guys can keep working on building your book to this level, but all of that happens before I get into anything really product oriented. Then we go into sales. So right here, you should always have a contest you're promoting. Obviously mine's very outdated. This is SC2. But this is where my goals go. Once I've done the rapport and the goal and like that was all customer expectation, framing, prepping, how you work with me, how I work with my customers. That's the focus of the first half of the book. Then it's like what's pertinent to the moment. Maybe it's a goal for the campaign. Maybe it's the March Madness contest that's going on right now. Maybe it's a trip. Maybe it's SC1. Maybe it's a summer goal. Maybe it's a year goal. This is going to have my Rolex page in it here. So for me, it's going to be a year goal that I'm going to promote for most of the year. And then this page will be like whatever mini goal I'm promoting. So I always usually like to have a long-term goal and a short-term goal that I'm promoting with my customers. And the big key to this page, you promote what you're trying to do, the big numbers you're trying to hit. And it's like basically, Ms. Jones, what that means to you. And I always try to connect things back to the customer, right? Like what's in it for them. That's a big key focus in everything I do in my business, especially in my blue book, is what's in it for my customers. What's in it for you? So basically, Ms. Jones, what these goals mean for you is I am super motivated right now. And I have these big goals and I know that they're not going to be easy. So anything that you see that you like, be open-minded. You know, I'm going to ask you to push it a little bit on what you might think you like, but I'm going to make it super worth your while. And you're going to get like the most ridiculous, crazy deal on Cutco that you've ever seen. Because I've never worked this hard before for a goal. And I know that it's going to take me going the extra mile for my customers in order to make that happen. So just take advantage of me because you're catching me at a time where you can really push me for some great deals, and it's going to be worth it for you long term. The money you spend today, like you're going to forget about that in 40 years when you still have your Cutco. Just like you probably couldn't even tell me what your Cutco that you have now is worth. And you're going to forget what you paid today and all my goals and all the stuff I'm working for. Eventually, all that's going to matter is like you love the stuff that you have in your home. So just be open-minded, think big, keep in mind gifts. And at the end, I'll show you all the prices. Anything that you see that you like, I'll make sure to give you like a super crazy, killer, awesome deal on. Sound good? High five. And now I move into product. And that's my transition into product. Like what all of the stuff that I just did means, Ms. Jones, is I'm working hard to build my business. I'm working hard to hit my goals. And I know that it's going to take me going above and beyond for my customers to make that happen. So take advantage of that because I'm vulnerable right now. And you can get the most insane deal you've ever seen on Cutco. It's like anything else, like Costco. The more you get, the more you save. So we'll make a list of all the things that you like. I'll show you what I can do for you on the price. I promise it's something you've never seen before as far as discounts go. And eventually you're going to forget about what you spent anyway, just like you probably don't remember what you spent before. You're just going to know that you have an awesome product that you use every day, and you're going to be so glad that you made the investment. So be open-minded, and let me show you what we have. High five, move into the product. Okay. First program, then I have my programs laid out. And this is something that I want you guys to do. The front half of this book is very personal. How you set it up is up to you, but the key is to have a bunch of stuff here. And it's not going to be the same stuff that I have. I recommend that you have this page here with Dr. Phil and the famous Cutco owners. I know I've sent that out to you.
Oh, okay.
You can email me. I'm sure I've sent it before, but I can send it again. I recommend that you have testimonials up front. I want you to have referrals here. That's very important that you have referrals here. You need to have a bunch of photos. What the photos are, I don't care. You want to have something personal, okay? Something that is outside of the business that you promote. For you, James, it's water polo. For you, Muros, maybe it's helping Andrew build his business. I don't know what it is, but something outside of the business that you can promote as well. And then stats. That's like the formula, right? The actual things are going to be different, but the formula should be the same. You open with photos, then you have stats to build credibility, then you have personal stuff to break that energy a little bit, and then you have referrals, and then you have testimonials, and then you have goals before you move into programs.
So for me, I have my testimonials like scattered throughout. Should I just have them all in one place?
1 second. This is my best customer from the weekend that just called me. Okay. So the testimonials, I'm okay with you having them scattered throughout the book. If you like that, I used to use that system as well. Just make sure you have some in the front to set the expectation, but it's not a bad thing if you like using it throughout, like specific testimonials for specific items. I think that's great. I personally don't use it that way, but I'm not against it. So I think that's totally fine. So then I go through programs. So Ms. Jones, what that means for you is anything you see that you like, you're going to get a super awesome deal on. All right. Cutco has a bunch of different programs available for customers like you. The first one's the family program. And this is a way for you to get an extra discount on a secondary set for family members and friends. So we have all sorts of different things on this program that you could take advantage of. Would you ever consider giving the gift of Cutco to somebody? And here is the first time I plant the seed for gifts. And I just test the waters and plant it, and I give them a little pitch. You know, these gifts, Cutco is one of the greatest things you can give somebody because there's not a lot of things you can give people that they'll literally use every single day and have for the rest of their life. And Cutco is one of those things. It's giving somebody a best-in-class product. And there's a ton of ways to do it. You know, we have gifts that start at $80 and you can spend $4,000. Some people break it up into a bunch of little gifts, like a series of gifts. Some people do it all at once. But it's one of the greatest things that you can do for family members and friends. They're going to keep it way longer than any kind of shirt or other gift that you can give them. And then we have our business gift program. And this is where we engrave the product with logos, names, phone numbers, or client information for people to give as gifts. And I'll spend time on this only if they're a business owner, which I've usually already identified. So I'll pitch a little bit about the business gifts right here before I move into stuff for themselves. So I'm hitting those 2 programs early, not really going into too much detail, but testing the waters, starting to feel. The purpose of this is to know, where am I going to spend my time? Am I going to spend my time on gifts for themselves, for personal purposes, gifts for business, or stuff for themselves? Where am I getting the most excitement from them as I go through this process? That's why these are early and not late. Because when you have these later in your book, like Miros, I believe you had some of your branding stuff a little bit later, then by the time you get there, you're way too deep into the appointment and you may not have enough time to focus on it the way you wanted to. There have been plenty of times. Miros, are you frozen? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. There have been plenty of times where I had this stuff later and it's like, I spent all this time fighting to try to sell them a couple of pieces for themselves. And all of a sudden they get really excited about business gifts and I'm out of time on the appointment. Like they have to rush out or I have to hurry out. And I lost the opportunity for something way bigger because I didn't promote these things early. And there are times where, they get so excited about this here that I don't even talk about their stuff. I go straight to my business gift section in the back of the book and we focus on business gifts for most of the appointment. Same thing with the family program. It's easier to sell them the set that they already have and know the value in as a gift than it is to try to sell them on the concept of an upgrade in some cases. So these things are very strategically placed here so that I could test the waters and see, do I want to spend most of my time on the programs or the personal stuff? So having programs early is important in your book as well. And then I have the Cutco kitchen page. And this is where I introduced the concept of the kitchen, is on this physical page here. And I noticed that neither of you have this as like the first piece of product that they see. This needs to be the first piece of product.
That's like my very first page ever in my blue book.
Right. But you had it up front here, which is fine. Yeah. But you're going to do all of this stuff and they're going to forget about the Cutco kitchen, or I don't know if you're even utilizing the Cutco kitchen page properly here. The Cutco kitchen page needs to be kind of in the place where your sets are. And this is where I introduced the concept of Cutco. Like Ms. Jones, the idea with Cutco, it's an ecosystem. It's kind of like buying into Apple, where, first you buy the phone, but before you know it, you have the phone, the iPad, the computer. And it makes sense because all the products talk to one another. They all get serviced at the same place. Because the computer's so good that the phone's going to be just that good. And it's the same deal with Cutco. We're best known for the knives, and that's what most people invest in first. Then we have the silverware. That's the sexiest stuff that we make. Then we have the pots and pans. It's like the highest quality things that we do. And depending on which of the sets you go with, you get a bunch of the accessories and gadgets for free. Something as silly as a vegetable peeler or a can opener, people don't think about it, but you buy 3 or 4 of them or 5 or 6 over the course of your life. You have 2 of them in the drawer that are just making it cluttering and neither of them work well. Before you know it, you spend $100 on can openers and you still don't have a freaking can opener, right? Yeah, the Cutco one's going to be more expensive, but you buy it once and you're done and it just works forever. And so that's the idea with all of our stuff. When you combo a couple of the sets together, you get a much better value. Just like Costco, the more you spend, the better discount you get. But you can start with any of the 3, and that whichever one you do is completely up to you. I'm going to show you the options of doing one by themselves or combining them together. And we'll see what works best for you. So this page is super important for setting the expectation. Think about the expectation that it sets looking at this page versus the first product page being a bunch of individual knives like you had in your book, Miros, or even just having the big set like you have in yours, James. This sets the expectation for this is what we sell. This is everything. This is what we're going to try to get you today, not a couple of knives. Regardless of what you say about those knives or how you utilize the page, what they're seeing is individual knives. At this point, they haven't seen a single individual knife in my book. All they've seen are sets, and it gears it towards packages. This is like crucial. This is where I get the most pushback, but I'm telling you that it works. It's a psychological thing. If they see pieces, what do they buy?
Pieces, I guess.
Yes, not I guess. That's the expectation that you're setting. They're thinking when they see those sets, What they're focused on is not the sets. They're focused on, oh, that piece might look good. Regardless of what you're saying or how you're pitching it, it really sets the wrong expectation for the appointment.
So I should get rid of this?
100% throw it away fast, please. That gave me anxiety when I saw it. I wanted to.
But it's the sets and what's in it.
No. I'm going to show you how to utilize it, with how to use your book without that. So then I have the American Made page, which I honestly don't spend much time on with service calls. Junk knives, which again, I don't spend much time on with service calls. This is for my demos. Features and benefits. I like that you had your price comparisons there, Miros. I used to do that too. I used to have my price comparison with features and benefits. And the idea being, on a demo, I pitch the company, I do all of this, and then I talk about junk and why shitty stuff sucks. And then I talk about quality stuff and why the quality stuff is worth investing in. And that's how I utilize my price comparison on this page. I used to have the price comparison right here in my book when I was doing more demos. And I recommend it for you too, because it sets the price expectation right away. And it's like, here's why you shouldn't invest in shit and throw away all the crap that you have. So if you're not going to have crap and we agree on that, let's look at the other options. The other options are quality. And this is the best stuff. This is Henkel's, Wusthof, Schön. If Cutco didn't exist, I'd go out and buy these brands. And here's why I'd go out and buy these brands. And these things are the bomb. Like, I'm building up, like, if you'd think I'd be selling Wusthof and Schön, right? And then I say, here's what sets Cutco apart from them. Here's why Cutco is an even better investment than going out and buying a high quality product. And I'll go through features and benefits, and then I go into the warranty. And at the end of the day, Ms. Jones, like Henkel's, Wusthof, Schön, you're buying a product that's equal quality to Cutco. I'm not going to pretend it's not. It's same 448 high quality steel. Our handles are higher quality. The nickel silver is a better material. So we have a couple things as far as like construction that set us apart that make us better, especially our edge. But at the end of the day, a good knife is a good knife. The question is, how is that knife going to perform in 5 years and 10 years and 20 years? Because anybody that tells you a knife will stay sharp forever, you should not believe that. Knives need maintenance, and that's where Cutco shines. With our warranty, we do the service for you. And then I go into my guarantee page and I pitch the guarantee. So I really like having the price comparison right here, especially primarily for demos. And when I don't have I don't have it in my book now, but when I do a demo, I do pull out my price comparison and I do it on this page. Then I go into the guarantee and I promote the guarantee. But keep in mind, like by the time I get to the guarantee page, I've already done my introduction Cutco page, right? So we already started some product stuff, and now we're driving it home with the guarantee. And then I have, again, my Cutco kitchen page here. So let's talk about this little section here from programs through. Any feedback or questions on this? Programs, Cutco kitchen introduction, junk knives. And so on a demo, the reason I have 2 Cutco kitchen pages, on a service call, on a service call, I'll usually do the Cutco kitchen page here. On a demo, I usually do it here. So on the demo, I'm going to spend time talking about junk knives, quality stuff, and the guarantee, because they need to know more about the brand and the product and the concept behind it before I go into specifics here. Whereas on a service call, I want them to be right away thinking about big stuff because they already know the product, the brand. They need to be reminded and resold, but I want this to be already on their mind before I go through this. And I usually skip the junk knife page with Cutco customers, and I go into features and benefits and guarantee. And then I want them to see the Cutco kitchen a second time. Questions or feedback on that second portion of the Blue Book? Programs and features and benefits and guarantee and concept selling.
I understand why you have the business gifts in the front now.
Because
I never knew when to talk about them.
Yeah. James, anything?
Very small question. The business gift page that you have in there, is that just like a regular sheet of paper in a sheet protector like all the rest of them, or is it that heavy, thick? Okay.
You see it? It's heavy.
Yes.
Photo paper.
Okay, well, what I was getting at was like, you know, when you order the business gift, like the business gift like sample kit off of Vector Connect, it gives you a couple of those pages already like it's but they send it to you like already laminated and all that, so it doesn't really fit in a sheet protector. And it's also the same, and also it's two-sided with the exact same thing on both sides.
So you can get this page here on Vector Connect under the business gifts and print it out. You can get all the business gift prices, so you can print them yourselves and have them in your book.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Now we go into product. So I'll review the Cutco Kitchen page here for demos. For service calls, I may remind them of how the kitchen works. And I'll tell them, most people will start with the knives. If you can swing it, comboing it with either the flatware or the cookware is going to be your best value, like price-wise, you're going to get the best deal. But we're going to start with the sets because that's really what we're best known for. And then I have the 3-set page. So we have 3 main sets that we do.
Yay!
First is our basic set. This is honestly the most popular one. It comes with one of every type of tool in it. It's nothing fancy or gourmet. It's just kind of like the essentials to get by in the kitchen. And then, Miss Jones, we have our complete set. And I do this, I kind of fondle the page a little bit, right? And James, we talked about that at the show. This is the same way I explain the sets at the show. I'm like, this is our basic set. It's kind of like the essentials to get by in the kitchen. It's the most popular set we've made since the 40s. It comes with one of every type of tool. It's nothing fancy or gourmet. It's just basically one of every type of tool that you would need in the kitchen. But then there's the complete set. That's the set everybody wants. And that's the set everybody works towards. And that comes with all the bells and whistles. It's the only one that comes with a full setting of 12 steak knives. You get all 3 cutting boards with it and the sharpener. It's like the one and done kind of set forever. Because remember, this is not just a set you're going to have for a couple years like the other knife sets you've bought before. This is the last set of knives you're ever going to need. So if you can swing it, it's not really all that much more. It's the way to go because you may not use every tool every day, but over the next 20, 30, 40 years, you're going to use everything in this set all the time. You're going to be really glad that you had it. And it stays sharper much longer. It's like having multiple pairs of shoes. If you have one pair of shoes you use for everything every day, they're not going to last you as long as when you have multiple shoes. And you would never use the same shoe to go to, a nice dinner or walk on the red carpet as you would to go do construction work. It just doesn't make sense. They all have their job, right? That's why you have multiple pairs. And it's the same deal with the knives. Sure, you could use any knife for everything, just like you can use a pair of shoes for everything, but it doesn't really make sense and it's not the best experience. So the complete set is really the way to go. And then we have one set in between. And that's all I say about the signature set. So you see how I promote that. And what that allows me to do, I can tell when I promote that, which set they're leaning towards right away. I'm really I have that pitch down. I don't have to think about it when I do it. I'm really watching the customer and that'll tell me right there where to focus. And maybe I'm with a qualified customer that can afford whatever they want and they're just engaged with a basic set. That tells me I really need to sell on the complete. Or maybe it's a customer I know can't afford anything and they're like ogling the complete set. And I know I need to make sure to focus on getting them at least excited about the basic pieces. How many times have you had a customer that shows a lot of excitement about the ultimate set? And so you focus on the ultimate set, but then when it comes down to the prices, they can't afford it. And they're like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do the whole thing, right? So I'm aware of that at this moment when I'm presenting the 3 sets. If I think that price might be an issue, I'm going to make sure to sell the shit out of the basic pieces before I focus on the ultimate pieces. And I may not sell the ultimate pieces that hard if I don't think that that's going to be their set. And it's a game. Like, it's hard. Do I focus on, you want to sell the ultimate set, you have to focus on those pieces, but you got to gauge it here as to where to focus. And typically 90% of the time, because of the way I promote these 3 sets, I get excitement for one of the 2, the basic or the complete. Very, very rarely does a customer pick the signature as the set that they want. And it's because of how I present those 3 sets. One thing I noticed at my booth this weekend that really emphasized how important this is, I did a different setup where I had these 3 pedestals, a low, a medium, and a high one. And I had the basic, the signature, and the complete set. And I never get people pick the signature set because of how I promote it. People always pick the basic or the complete. And that's what I want, because if they pick the basic, it's such an easy upsell to the signature. And if they pick the complete, then it's an easy drop down to the signature. And at the booth, it's the same thing. I usually get people picking the basic or the complete. But because I had them set up large, medium, small next to each other, people want medium. It just makes sense. Like that's where they go. And I sold a signature that would have been an ultimate if I had my setup differently. And it's crazy how those little things make such a big difference. But I'm never going to set up my booth like that again, because I had way too much interest in the signature set that never happens to me. And it's because just aesthetically, when you look at small, medium, large, what do you want? You want medium. What's the most ordered size at McDonald's? It's medium. When you go to Starbucks, what do people order? The medium. There's just something about it, right? And so how do you present it in a way that emphasizes one of the others instead, and you keep that signature in your back pocket for later?
Wait, can I ask you something really quick? On fairs and shows, do you have that same page right there too? And like, that's how you show the 3 sets?
No, I have the sets there.
Okay. Oh, right. So you do the...
Yeah, I have them right next to me.
Complete, and then between.
Yeah, when I'm pitching on my left side, I have the pieces. On my right side, I have the sets. And I have ultimate, signature, and homemaker next to it. So they're all right there. And I pitch them the same way I just pitched them there. I used to have this page in my book. I laminated it at the booth because it just makes it easy. It's a great page. But now I don't. I have them at my booth like that.
Hey, one more question, sorry, and then I'll let you move on. Do you use the Mike Dahlwood binder on fairs and shows? What do you use?
I have my own binder.
Can you mail it to me? Email it to me, PDF it? I'll buy it from you.
Yeah, I will send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Email me so I can remember to send it to you. So I explained the 3 sets. And then right here, before moving on to anything else, I pull out the pieces for the sets. And I don't have any pieces anywhere in my book. I pull them out on the table. We may not have time to get to that today. That might be the second part of this call. But then I go into names and uses here for the 3 sets. And I lay out the 3 sets the same way that they're laid out in those pamphlets pretty much. I'll show you how I lay them out in just a moment. I would like to get time to get to that because that's the next most important thing. So then I have silverware, flatware, and then I have gadgets and accessories. And then this page I have because it's the only page with the bacon serve, and it's an extra reminder here for me to refocus on gifts, to make sure that I promote gifts a second time. People need to hear things multiple times, every time, right? I heard a great joke by Matthew Kelly once. It's like the first time you tell somebody something, they don't hear it. The second time you tell them, they don't hear it. The third time you tell them, they say, damn, that must be important because he's told me twice. Get it?
Yeah.
So we got to tell people things multiple times. You got to talk about the programs multiple times. Then I have my outdoor section, which has the garden tools and the hunting knives. And I pull at least one hunting knife out, usually the fisherman solution. I sell a lot of fisherman solutions. Whether they're a fisher or not, I pull out the fisherman solution because there's not a single person in this world that doesn't know somebody that fishes, and $100 is a great price point for a gift. It's also incredibly impressive when you demo the fishing knife correctly. And so I demo the fishing knife on every appointment, no matter what. And then I go into cookware. And I have the cookware in the back for a reason. Everybody has a budget. Some people can afford to buy whatever they want, but how often do people really buy the kitchen? It's very rare. And so if they're going to spend money, what do I want them spending money on? Cookware or knives? Knives, right? Cookware or flatware? Flatware. My CPO, my commission is better on those items. So the cookware is in the back. And my cookware page, I have the cookware here. And then I have the features and benefits and like the information about it. I take the saucepan and the fry pan on my appointments. And then I'll fry an egg. I have the 3 sets and I explain the 3 sets of the cookware. And then I go into business gifts again. And I have my business gifts with all the prices here, which I use for the appropriate customers. And then I have the wellness mats. And the wellness mat, I actually have just the, I don't know where it is right now, but I have the booklet that you get as a sample because it's the nicest way to look at them. And I just pull that out. And then here, this page really I can get rid of. I used to use this to show the cherry block, but I sell more honey blocks. This I have for the trays, to promote the trays, and you can see the 3 colors. This page I really can remove it now, but I used to utilize this just to make sure if I was customizing something that everything fit appropriately. And then I have the Cutco Kitchen page again, which is where I usually close. I'll have my binder here, my notepad where I write down the prices with the Cutco Kitchen page still showing. So I have 3 Cutco Kitchen pages in my book. And then this just shows the engraving options. So the engraving fonts.
That is a lit book. I'm gonna go buy a binder.
I've showed you guys this multiple times over the last year, and your books are not at this level yet. But I'm hoping that after spending an hour going through how to use it, you can see the value in it now, right? There's a very methodical, I've played with my blue book like an infinite amount of times. At this point, what I need from you guys is to trust me. Trust the fact that I've sold $1 million worth of the product and I've done everything. Andy sold $4 million, his blue book set up the same way. We've been through this process together where we've both played with different things over the years. And this blue book has not changed for the last, this blue book hasn't changed for the last 3 years, basically. This setup, it works. It's the best way to promote packages. And this requires you to have all the knives, okay? It's a necessity because you don't have the knives in the book. But customers flip through this book, they're like, do you even sell the knives individually? I'm like, sometimes. But the packages make way more sense. And I have all the knives here, so I'll show you them. It also prevents, ooh, what does that knife do? What about that one? Tell me about this one. That's the worst because I don't ever want them thinking about that knife or this knife. I want control of my appointment. I want control of my presentation. I want to frame things the right way for the clients. And having the knives in my book, in my binder, gives me that power where if I need to focus on homemaker pieces, I just don't pull out ultimate pieces, right? And I just don't show them the ultimate pieces. And so they don't ask or want or need. I don't have to customize a homemaker. I don't get interest in the ultimate pieces if I need to focus on the homemaker pieces, right? When I don't have a lot of time and I'm in a hurry and it's a demo and I need to close quick, I can't deal with, I like the cleaver, I like the cheese knife. I don't have time for that. I need to show the homemaker pieces, close on the homemaker pieces, and then maybe upsell to a signature. And having the pieces in the book doesn't let me do that. It creates way too much time of what's that one? How about that one? Does that come in the set? Oh, but I like the set, but I like that knife.
Wait, so can we have a call where like you show us like how you lay out the knives? Because I'm confused now.
Yeah, let's see if we can make time to do that. We have 5, maybe 10 more minutes tops. So
okay, yeah, I'm about to say the same thing. I got an appointment coming up here that I need to stuff ready for and all that.
Yeah. So you just showed the 3 sets. I sometimes pop out the trifold, that book, or not the trifold, I'm sorry, the 3 sets book picture, and I put it here and I put away my book. So now we're no longer focused on anything other than the sets, and they have the 3 sets right here. They never lose sight of the fact that it's a set. So I have the 3 sets sitting right here on the counter from my blue book. And I start pulling out the pieces. So Ms. Jones, in the basic set, one of every type of tool. It's nothing fancy or gourmet. First thing you get is a paring knife, peeling and paring in the air. I hand it to them. You feel how that handle's longer, more control over the knife. It's a great paring knife. We're known for our paring knives. Then we have the tomato knife and my cut with the trimmer there. Then we have the spatula. This is the only knife I have in red. I don't like to promote the red, and I promote the spatula spreader. And then we have the carvings, the everyday carving set. Again, Ms. Jones, the idea with the set is this set has one of every type of tool. It's nothing fancy or gourmet. I say that a bunch of times when I'm promoting the knives to my customers. So with the basic set, because it brings one of every type of tool, you have a small, medium, and large utility knife. The small is going to be your fruits and veggies, all your little stuff like tomatoes. Then you have your rotisserie chickens, pineapples, medium cuts. And then you have turkey, ham, roast, and special occasions. Small, medium, large utility. They're good for fruits and vegetables. And that's how I explain those knives and why it makes sense to have all 3 sizes. You always want the knife to be about 1 to 2 inches bigger than the food that you're cutting. So when you're trying to decide which of these to use, just use that rule of thumb. Is the knife 1 to 2 inches bigger than the food that you're cutting, small, medium, and large? Then you have your chopping knife. And I like the French chef, but I have the petite chef as well. So depending on the customer, I'll pull out the proper one. If I'm trying to sell a signature or ultimate, I'm going to pull out the French chef. If I think they're going to be a homemaker customer, then I pull out the petite chef. Okay. You guys understand why that is?
I guess, but I don't like the French chef. It's huge.
You have to use it more. It's
I'm
an
like
amazing
5 feet tall. My hands are not that big.
Do you like money though?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you better learn how to like the French chef because it makes you more money.
Okay.
French chef, the reason it's so long is so you can chop larger amounts of fruits and vegetables all at once. It doesn't get used up in the air, it gets used on the board. And go home, use this, use it to cut meat, like chop leftover meat to get it really small for a sandwich. Use it to chop up onions, peppers, to do a salsa. When you use this knife, you'll understand why this knife is so great. It is night and day over the petite chef. It's a better knife, I guarantee it. However, if you're just selling a homemaker set, the petite chef for most people makes more sense. It's an easier sell. When you're selling a family or a complete set, the French chef is going to come in there, right? So you want to promote that. And that way they have the large, the medium, and the small. Okay, so they have the large and the small with the signature, which would be the petite santoku. And then in the family set, they have, in the complete set, they have the large and they have 2 medium sizes as well. They have the 7-inch. So you don't need 2 7-inch choppers in the complete set. So that's why I pull out the French chef if I think I'm going to be focused on a bigger set. But sometimes I pull out the petite chef and then the bread knife. And once I lay these tools out just like this in this order, I say, so Ms. Jones, you have the paring knife for the air, the fun spatula spreader, the small, medium, and large utility knife, a bread knife, a raw meat knife, and a vegetable knife. That's it. My butcher knife I sell as a boning knife, butterfly and chicken breast, taking fats off of meats, because in the homemaker set, it's the best knife for those jobs. And if you ever use it for those jobs, it's freaking amazing. The butcher knife is one of my favorite knives. And use it more at home, you'll be able to sell it more. This is your raw meat knife. And sometimes I'll explain raw meats and cooked meats. And I'll point out these two. So you have cooked meats and raw meats. Then you have medium utility and small utility. Sometimes I promote it like that. But I lay out the set just like this on the table almost every time. And I typically am not leaving any pieces out of the homemaker. I'm pulling out all the homemaker pieces. Sometimes I close here and upsell later. Sometimes I show the rest of the tools. Another little trick is to try to keep these knives neat and close together. And that makes the set seem a lot smaller. So I'll do it like this with the fork separating. So if I need to drop down to the galley, I can. It's easy and visual. But I keep these knives close together so it doesn't look overwhelming or like a lot of knives. And when you do it properly, it makes sense. Like, does this, with the way I promoted it, do you see how this doesn't seem like a lot of knives?
Yeah, it's all.
It's kind of just what you need. It's one of every type of tool. It's nothing fancy or gourmet. Not only that, people are used to that set being the normal size set. Then I move into the signature set, then I move into the ultimate set before I do the signature set. And my ultimate pieces are all in white. And that's makes it very clean and easy when you're setting it up on the board. So with the ultimate set, Ms. Jones, the paring knife's great, but it's one of the most used tools in the set. That's why the ultimate set brings the 4-inch paring knife for mangoes and avocados. With the basic set, the French chef is amazing. It's one of my favorites, but it is kind of long for everyday stuff. That's why with the ultimate set, you also get the 7-inch santoku for chopping veggies. That's going to be your medium, more everyday knife that you'll use all the time. And the French chef is when you're entertaining or doing larger amounts of cooking. Then the cheese knife, I promote the cheese knife, the raw meat knife. And I do the same thing with the raw meat knife where I tell them the butcher knife's great, but sometimes it's a little bit big for butterfly and chicken breast or trimming fats off of meats. That's why the boning knife is a much better tool for those jobs, but you still need the butcher knife when you're doing the squashes, the rutabagas, the bigger, heavier things. Then I have the salmon knife, which I sell a lot as the melon knife. It's also excellent for briskets and doing larger pieces of raw or cooked meats that you want to slice very thinly. I don't typically pull out the petite bread knife. I actually hardly ever pull that knife out. I even take it off my board at my shows. And then I do pull out the cleaver. And the vegetable knife. my Hardy slicer is somewhere else right now. I'm going to use the gourmet prep. I also have a lot of engraved items at my booth or in my sample kit. I have my Hardy slicer engraved. I have my vegetable knife engraved with a logo too. So then I explain the ultimate pieces next, and then I show the signature pieces. And the signature pieces go in between vertically.
Can you move your computer a little bit to the
Yes, I'm going to show it to you right now. I did some different setup for this show, so some of my sample kit stuff is at the show, but this will give you the general idea. So you have homemaker, vertically, the signature, and then the ultimate pieces. And typically the signature pieces are going to be on top of, like, they're not spread out so long like this. It's more homemaker, signature on top, ultimate right next to it, right? So the sets are all very clear and clean with what you get. And the only red pieces I have are the spatula and the petite shantoku. And that helps me explain that with the signature set, you don't get the 7-inch, you get the medium one. And I lay out the knives, and my table on a demo will look like this. It'll have all those tools laid out with the sets right next to it. The only thing that's, sometimes I may not pull out the cleaver, sometimes I may not pull out the butcher knife, but that's about it. On, I would say 90% of my demos, my booth looks like this. And with service calls, the homemaker pieces are just not out, right? Like because they already have that. So it's just what they're missing from the set. And I lay out those pieces just like that. And then on a service call, when it comes time for customizing, no matter what I think they like, no matter what I think I can sell them, I lay out the pieces the way that they come. And I've promoted things in sets and packages so well that this is just the upgrade. I've talked about how the upgrade works, and these are the tools that come in the upgrade. And I will sometimes even close on those tools, even if I know they're not fully sold on, like the cleaver, for instance, or the salmon knife. There's always 2 or 3 pieces they're not that excited about when you're doing an upgrade, but I show these. And then I have my Santoku pieces. And I close, I show the price, they say no, you know, it's just blah, blah, blah. Hey, will these, I know, will these, is it too much for the budget right now, or do you not feel like you'd use all of the knives in the set? And it's usually a combination of both with a service call, right? And I'll say, okay, so I can show you something smaller, because typically at that point you show the upgrade, and what you're getting is, okay, how much is this one and this one? Or can I do this and this tool? Can I do these and that, right? They're going straight towards pieces because they're not 100% on the upgrade. But I've only presented the upgrade the way that it's supposed to come with the knives that are supposed to come in the set. And I tell them, hey, you can definitely do those couple of pieces if you want. I'll show you the price on that in just a second. Before I do that, what if I did something like really special for you? There's a couple of knives, they're specialty. Some of them can only be custom ordered. Some of them aren't even on the website, that just based on our conversation about how you cook, I think you might really like them. Now, the upgrade comes the way it does. And when you customize things, it usually ends up costing more. But because I'm working so hard on my goals, I'll let you customize the set. We can make it as expensive as you want, and I'll keep the price the same. So let me show you what that option would look like, because it might make more sense for you. And, you know, I really do want to hit my goal. And I think the set, like just having the block to put them in, if you buy a couple of the pieces, where are you going to put them? You're going to put them in the drawer, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're not going to use them, okay? Because you're going to keep using the ones that are in your block on your counter. That's what happens. If you're going to make the investment, you need to have somewhere to store it, and you want to have it accessible so that you can actually use it. So instead of that cleaver, which is, I understand, like not everybody loves it and uses it. I know you love your cheese knife that you've had forever. Check out these bad boys. These are the mini cheese. It's 2 knives, okay, instead of 1, but they both fit in that same cleaver slot. So we could take out the cleaver and put these 2 in its place. And I know how much you love your paring knives, and you have the you would like the 4-inch one, but you gotta see this. This is the 3-inch. So it's in between the two size-wise, and it's really great for the cutting board because when you use it on the board, only the point touches the board. So like julienning peppers, you're dragging through your foods. This thing is sexy. So instead of that big long salmon knife, since you don't eat fish, we're gonna put in the custom Santoku paring knife right in that spot there for you. And then I know how much you love your trimmer and you use your trimmer all the time. The first thing you asked me for was a second trimmer. So instead of doing that big cleaver, the vegetable knife that you really don't use that much and is kind of big and is an extra chopper, this is a custom ordered tool. Okay, you can't find it online. It's a very specialty knife. This is a updated Santoku style trimmer with a custom straight edge on it. Try this on the potato and slice through the potato with it. So you can't get this knife online. I literally have to make a special instruction of the company to manufacture this knife for you. But let me tell you, it's become like my favorite freaking thing in the world. So I'm gonna put that there. And I know you weren't that excited about the Santoku knife because you already have a chopping knife, but trust me, you need it. Like I could swap it for something else, but I'm not going to because I know the second you have this in your kitchen, the way it rocks and chops, let me show you how to use it. And I resell them on the tools that maybe they weren't that excited about, whatever, and I go through that. But as opposed to going straight to some customized thing that you're comfortable selling and you know that they'll like, obviously this set is more exciting for that customer in particular, right? How much more value is there the way I just presented it now, right? And not only that, I took out bigger pieces, put in smaller pieces, kept the price the same, and now I'm winning CPO wise too, because I don't have to give as much stuff for free when I do it that way. And I'm literally taking things out physically, I'm moving them to the side, and I'm pulling out these sexy new knives that they've never seen before. And I'm making them this super crazy, custom, awesome Suzy set. So like Miss Jones, nobody has a set like this. Like I picked these pieces based on the kind of cooking you told me you do. This is like the perfect set for you. It's pretty amazing. And actually, as a matter of fact, because we put so many small pieces, you just happen to like the smaller knives, I can save you an extra $50 off the set. So it's going to lower the price on it too. And then your payments are just going to be this. And sometimes I will lower the price. Sometimes I'll keep it the same, but I'm always winning when I do this, right? Because you're always taking out big pieces, putting in smaller pieces. Even if you drop the price a little bit, you can drop the price and not have to give anything away for free, right? And it's like that much more exciting for the customer. And then the table looks more like this. So I've taken out those knives, I've put these in, and I always keep them nice and straight and clean, and they still have the signature pieces there. So on a service call, it'll probably be just this without the homemaker pieces being out, whereas on a demo, it's not. And then they can see if they want to upgrade to the signature, they can, but they just get this and none of these sexy ones. And honestly, sometimes on a demo, on a upgrade, I don't even do that. I just have them all like this, like it's one set option, because I don't give the signature as an upgrade option at all. I lay out the signature pieces crooked like that, typically when it's a bigger upgrade because they have 2 or 3 knives or it's a demo.
Quick question. Do you do names and uses for the little cheese knives?
Not really, because I'm usually selling those when they already have the cheese knife, and when they have the cheese knife, they already rave about it, right? It's already their favorite thing in the world. So
what can you use the little cheese knives for? I'm just like smaller cheese.
They're for entertaining. So they're the names and uses, the selling points on the mini cheese knife. Like you love your cheese knife, right? But sometimes when you're entertaining on a cheese platter, the cheese knife is just too big. It doesn't fit well, look aesthetically good on the plate. And so that's why we have the smaller ones for when you have a cheese platter out. And also most people will have like multiple cheeses and you need a knife for each of those cheeses. So now you can have 3 cheeses out with 3 individual cheese knives when you're entertaining. And some people don't even use it that way, Miss Jones. Like, you know how much you love your paring knife? Imagine if you had a paring knife that cut as well as the cheese knife. That's kind of what it is. It's just a smaller cheese knife. You use your cheese knife all the time, you told me. How many times is that cheese knife in the dishwasher or dirty or in the sink? It never hurts to have an extra of your favorite knife. And so having the mini one, you're going to use it just as much. If you're ever cooking with your husband or your daughter and you're both cooking together and you need 2 cheese knives, you can both use them and cut at the same time. There's so many uses for having the little ones. That's why the cheese knife is so popular. We literally made the smaller ones because people wanted more. And those cheese knives are great.
Like mind blown. That was hot.
I kind of have to go.
All right, run away, James.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Later.
Hang on for 1 second.
No, I wasn't saying bye to you. I was saying bye to him.
Oh, okay. Do you see the value in this?
Yeah.
Do you see why this is so much more powerful than the fold out?
Yeah.
And being able to check that one out, right? And hand it to them, have them feel it and show them, even if you're not cutting food with
Do you ever cut food?
Oh yeah, I cut food on all my
You cut.
potatoes typically.
What else?
On demos, I usually cut tomatoes or grapes and potatoes or apples.
Okay. And on service calls?
Potatoes, mostly.
So do you think I'm cutting? I think because you and I had a call and you were like, I want you to start cutting more food.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm bringing celery, potatoes, and tomatoes.
Great.
You don't think that's too much because you just said you only cut one thing?
It's not necessary. I cut with all the knives with that one thing, right? So with the potato, I do the cheese knife, right, with the potato. And then when I need to chop, I chop too. Instead of having celery separate, I just chop the potato, okay?
Oh.
So you can do that. It's not as nice. The celery is better. I just don't really need it right now at this point in my career. I can sell it pretty well just chopping the potato the same way I would chop the celery. But I mean, in an ideal world, if it's a great customer, I will chop the celery too. I'll have them bring celery from their kitchen or carrots from their kitchen if I want to. But usually time-wise, I don't need it to sell anymore. But I think it's good as a transition to get into that habit and show them how to chop. Typically, the type of cutting that I do is leather, penny, potato with the cheese knife, or apple. Apple's cut just like the potato with the cheese knife. So if I can't get a potato from them or I don't have potatoes with me, I'll cut an apple. Almost everybody has an apple. On a demo, I always cut a grape or a tomato with the trimmer. And then I chop with the choppers. And even if I'm not chopping with the choppers, I make them do the chopping motion with the chopper so that they can see and feel how it cuts on the cutting board. If I'm not actually doing chopping or I'm saving time or I don't think I need it, I'll always have them do the chopping motion and show them how to properly use the tool. And sometimes in service calls, I'm also cutting with their knives. I'm showing them how to use their knives better as well.
Hey, I have I have two questions. They're not demo related. They're home show related because I have a home show this weekend.
Yay.
Yeah. So question number one, why don't you use the Mike Dawood binder? Because everyone in my division has one and they're peer pressuring me to get one.
Use it. Buy it. Get it. It's fine.
But tell me about yours.
I'll send you mine so you can see it. The Mike Dawood binder has a ton of options. It's not bad at all. And you want to probably use what the other people at your booth are using. So I would say buy the Mike Dawood one, use the Mike Dawood one. I'll send you mine. You can just see it. I just think mine looks aesthetically better. And that's something that we can work down the line on how to use it. But right now, the best way to learn how to use specials is from the people you're working with. And I don't use the Mike Dawood binder. I've also never seen anybody use it, so I'm not sure perfectly how to utilize it. So I think it makes sense for you to buy it, have it, use it, learn how to use it from other people. I'll show you mine. And then as time goes on, you can choose which one is best for you.
Okay, question number two. What should I bring on to my event to cut?
Potatoes, grapes, celery.
Can you send me a picture of what I'm missing?
Knife.
So I can buy it? Knife-wise, yeah.
I'll take a couple pictures of what I have set up here.
Also, how do you think I should get most of that?
Contest, buying it at a third. We need to have a separate call about that and strategize what we're going to focus on getting first.
Okay.
We're going to have another call in 2 weeks, and we're going to focus more on the sample kit. Today was really the Blue Book, and then I know that this is important because this kind of goes along with why the Blue Book's set up the way it is. But we're going to go through the rest of my sample kit and how I lay those things out on the table too. Not next week, but the week after. Okay? I got to run. We'll keep in touch.
All right, bye.